Hi everyone, Karen here from Karen's Creative Corner, and I am here to talk about some different substrates working with alcohol papers. And I have a whole bunch to go over. So it's not going to be a lot of technique, it's just going to be some straightforward business on different types of alcohol papers that you can work with, and pros, cons, etc., etc. When I'm looking at paper, there are several things that I look at. I look at how it blooms, how it flows, how permanent it is on the paper, and how it soaks into the paper. And I'm sure there are other things that you want to know about, but those are the main things, mostly the bloom, the flow, and how permanent. So, let's begin. Now, the first thing I want to say is, if you saw my last video, you saw the unboxing video of my master airbrush, and I took the valve off. This is a quick release valve, quick release, I don't know if it's a valve, but quick release off of it, and just plugged it right into the airbrush. This made it a little bit sturdier. This was wibbling and wobbling a little bit too much. So I took that off. Nice feature, especially if you're going right into the air hose, but considering that I have the humidity, I put the air filter on. Now, if it turns out that I don't have as much humidity in here, like right now the windows aren't open, I do have a ceiling fan going on full blast, and a couple other air filters. So if I find out that this just isn't gathering a lot of humidity, then I'll go ahead and take it off, and then I'll put this back on. But for right now, I'm going straight to the hose and the filter and the brush. Okay? So this is also a shout out video to the Foiling Snobs Club, otherwise affectionately known as the Foiling, well, it's the Foiling Stamping Club, affectionately known as the Foiling Snobs Club. We're really not snobs. We just like to be rather picky on how we foil, and our choices of foil, and our choices of paper that we foil with when we're doing our arts and crafts. So this is a shout out to them. This is a Facebook group. If you do go to Foiling Snobs Club on Facebook and you want to join, please make sure that you read all the rules and regulations before you join. That is very important. Okay, so let's get on with it. So going through here real quick, I don't know if you can see this or not. You can see I've got a lot of stuff here. Okay. Okay. You see that? Yep. Karen's a klutz. Okay. Let's just put that back there. Okay, you can see good enough. So, we've got, just to show you, we've got black graphics. We have Pacon craft plastic, lots of different colors. We have Impressa, alcohol ink, tree-free paper. We have Bright Creations alcohol ink paper. We have my favorite graphics, craft plastic. We also have some we have some Duralar, which is an acrylic. And then we have some Tim Holtz black craft paper, aluminum foil. Here, I'm going to grab this, some Tim Holtz sparkle, and some Yupo paper, and the like. So, let's grab one at a time, and we'll go over and I'll tell you what I think. Now, I'm just going to go real quick over some of these really easy little ones. This is Tim Holtz. Oh, let's see. I have the paper in here, and I'll show you. So much for being organized. Alcohol ink cardstock. Comes in 5x7. Okay. Plain on one side. Sort of a glossy finish. I don't know. It says cardstock. But I've been pretty surprised with some of Tim Holtz' quote cardstock. Okay, but this is how it comes. And I just cut a small piece. Okay, so when I'm talking about bloom, oh, let's just throw on some blender. Okay, and I've been into orange lately. Yeah, let's just put some orange over here. And let's put a little bit of red. Okay. Oh, throw a little bit green. I don't know what that's going to do. Okay. And when I talk about bloom, is I'm talking about when you Christmas. Yeah, I'm talking about Christmas. No, what I'm talking about is when you put it on the paper, and I don't know if you can see, but it spreads out. So you're placing the ink on the paper, and it's going like this. Now, this kind of paper, due to the fact that it has a little bit of a rough finish, you're not going to see it bloom as much. Okay, now I'm not trying to be pretty. This is not a technique video. Okay, so we have that kind of thing. All right, and this is, you can get some, you know, pretty cool stuff. It dries pretty quick, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to dry it just a little bit more. And that's pretty dry. We don't have any buildup. And then let's just come along and put, this is 99% alcohol. And this is a little bit, you get a little bit more bloom with alcohol. Putting on drops like this. As you can see, it's spreading out. Okay? And if you were to come along and put a color like so, and I'm sure you can, sure, I'm not turned on. Helps if I turn it on. And when I'm talking about flow, I'm talking about how it moves across the paper. Okay? Which I'll show you in a bit, here in a second. Okay? Now, something that I was surprised about this paper, and that I like. Now keep in mind that I dried this a little bit. Now it's going to come out a little bit pinky because just for the simple fact that the colors that I used. But if I keep at it, see, now I've got pink on my finger. But you can see, I don't know if you can see a little bit there. If you keep at it, and if you do, I would recommend, like this is 71% if you can get a hold of it. You can always make your own 70% if you have 99% and you don't want to use your straight 99. Okay, don't know if you can see that now. Okay, that is pretty clean. Now you're going to see some coloring around the edges, but if it comes over to this size, you can always trim the edges. But this is pretty clean. Okay. Now what I like to talk about when I do flow is I'm going to put a little bit of blending solution, and let's use a little bit of purple. Whoops. Seeing how we're going that way. Just gonna, nope. And it flows a little bit, but not as far as some. I wanted to get into that purple drops a little bit, but you get the idea. But in any case, this is an option that you can work with. And if you're anything like me and you just make a mess, you can just come along and clean it up. Now, this is a good example of how some colors stain and some don't. So if you want to make something that you could come along and it doesn't do this, then you need to test your colors beforehand. Okay? But usually red is a good indicator. But this purple surprised me. Okay. And I don't even think that's going to come out with a 99. And it might. Yep, came out with a 99. That's the deal. That extra percentage. But some of the papers that we have, they will stain. This has got a little bit, but you could probably, if you kept out of your car, probably could get it clean. And it's holding up pretty good. And this almost feels like Yupo on the back, but you can already tell it's not. It wouldn't, I don't know. Not Yupo. Yeah, Yupo. I don't know. We'll have to look at the Yupo when we get to it, because it does do some unusual stuff. Let's see what goes on back here. Yeah, it's clear. You know, this very well could be like Yupo sandwiched in with something else, and but then you've got the layering in between that the colors can bleed into. Okay, so there's a nice option you can work with. This is not going to do so much like that on regular sparkle paper like this, but this is really cool because you could do some different effects with your sparkle paper. Okay, or alcohol ink cardstock, silver sparkle, 10 sheets, 5x7, and that's by Ranger. Okay, so another option and another Ranger product is alcohol ink foil tape sheets. Now I also used some aluminum foil. So this one here is the foil tape sheets, and this one here is the aluminum foil. And if you look at the front, you can't really tell that much difference. You can tell a little bit on the back. And then I just put it through an embossing folder. If I do this again, I will probably put a glue sheet on the back, or a tape sheet on the back. And so it's relatively just aluminum foil and the tape sheet and running it through just like you would this. to give it that stability, a little bit more stability. This is fine, really, unless somebody comes along and wants to, you know, scrape it and scratch it. Alright, now these are two that I already did. I wish I remembered what colors I used. I'm going to have to play around. This is the foil sheet. This is the aluminum foil. Okay. And this, I think, has been discontinued, but I know that Joggles.com still has it. And also I noticed that they have some brushed foil sheets, which I haven't tried yet. So that's something to think about. Okay, so I just wanted to show you some nice things about this. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay. And here, let's, wow, no. What color do we want to use? I don't know. Here, I just have some black. That's a good choice. Okay, I would use probably a black and a brown, but I don't have a brown up here. I do have a cranberry, but that's, well, hey. We're not trying to be pretty, right? I'm just trying to give you some options. So you can come along. Black by itself would have been fine. You can come along. Like so. And really the only reason that I'm showing you this, which I will throw it under my Ranger Heat It tool. Okay. And we're going to be using a roll of paper towels in this. 71%. There you go. Now, I had done this video one other time, and I really screwed it up, so knock on wood that that's not going to happen. And this isn't even a wood table, but anyway, the camera fell over and it was just a big catastrophe. Fiasco, that's the word I was gonna, big fiasco. But I had colored these both totally with another color and had totally cleaned them off. And that was like after the video. So you could find that, you know, even after a while, this is something that's going to clean up and wipe off for you too. So if you don't like it, just wipe it off. Okay, so we got our silvers and our sparkles. Let's hit on our black. Okay, now I just got a small piece of this. Big piece of graphics. Small piece of, this is the Ranger Tim Holtz alcohol ink cardstock. Okay, now this is similar to the silver where it's got one color on one side and it's got black on the other side. And I will already give you a secret, because if you look, it's got sparkles on it, is this piece has been used before and cleaned, which surprised the dickens out of me. Okay, whatever. That was just amazing. So, because here, most of us thought it was just plain cardstock with a fancy label on it. So, let me show you a little bit about that. And I'm just going to throw this on here. Now, okay, yeah, I threw it okay. I literally threw it. most of your colors aren't going to show up on black. So, here they are. I'm going to pull out my Marabou. Let's go pink, green, and gold. Okay? Because I think the other colors are darker. Now these are the glitter. Well, bronze and green and blue and green. And let's just stick with the pink. And I'm also going to pick out my Marabou white. Now, the Marabou white is on the thicker side. I like to use, if I'm going to use white, I like to use the Snow Cap, Tim Holtz Snow Cap. But for right now, no, I just did a card that I was looking for like a smoky effect. And what I did was I came along like so with my can of air and did this kind of thing. To get my smoke. Okay, so let's just do that over here. Now this, you want to make sure you're using the right side. And one side is sort of is smooth, and the side that I'm using has just an ever so slightly brush feeling to it. And you do get a different effect. The brush side, sorry, that's my dog, one of them. Okay, the brush side does hold the ink a little bit more. It's not going to flow as smooth. Okay, it also doesn't dry as fast. I really didn't even try that side. I don't think I did. I think I did. Maybe I did. But I found that the velvety, it's almost like a velvet side, like a leathery, I don't know, it's got a soft feeling to it. That's the side that I think works the best. Okay. Now if I shake this and the camera moves, I'm sorry, because my table wobbles. And the camera's on the table. So I was hoping when the table wobbles and the camera moves, that does do. Just a quick note. Yeah, just a quick note. Just a quick note. Yeah, and you see I don't have gloves on. I never wear gloves. I don't. You want to, if you got Marabou, pinch the top like so, and then the lids come off easier. Marabou inks are a bit messier. Also, if you don't tip the bottle upside down, you just tip it over on its side. Now, can you guys see that? Okay. Prove me wrong. Why is that? It's plugged. And it's not the ball. There it is. Okay. Yeah, see, there's not a whole lot of inks that will work on black. I don't know if you can see that I put it on white so you'd see it a little bit. Okay. You can see that sparkle. There's not a whole lot you can put on black that is going to make it. Okay, prove me wrong. I know it's not the ball. Okay. I don't know why I keep wanting to use that backwards. And as you can see, the graphics flows a lot. This is what I'm talking about by flow. And I only have my airbrush on medium. It's a 15, you know, it's probably 15-20 PSI. Okay. So it's very subtle. If you use this cardstock, it's very subtle. Okay, can you see that? There we go. And the light sort of, I don't know if you're seeing shadow of the light or if you're seeing the pink. Okay. So I'm just going to now dry this up. Dry. Now the graphics, if you get it too close, it will buckle a little bit. But I found out that if you just pick it up and go like this, it pops right back into shape. Just as long as it cools off. Dry. Okay. So far we have found out on this paper that you have to be careful of the colors you use. On the Tim Holtz, it's not going to spread out as much. It's not going to have the bloom and the flow that you might have on a smoother paper like the graphics. Okay. But there's one thing I did find out about it. Now, if you guys want to not fast forward and you just want to get through and find out what paper Karen likes the best. Okay. The paper that Karen likes the best is graphics in the white and the black. Especially if you don't use that. Here, I have some 91. It does make a difference, the alcohol percent you use. And because I used, oh, look at that. It didn't do that before. Or that, I don't remember what color I used the last time. There we go. Now the last time I did this, I don't know if I used what I used. And it might be because I've done it already on this. So I've pretty much saturated the paper. But this will, I had used both of these papers before. And of course, with anything in the alcohol inks, the higher percentage you use, the better result you're going to have. Now, I would say if you weren't going to use a sparkle, see, and now it's not. Okay. I was going to say if you, I don't know where that black was coming from. If you don't use the sparkle, which I don't know why you would not want to use something like that on this, that would come off, but it looks sort of cool that way. If you wanted that kind of a look, or other just buy sparkle paper, but that does have a nice subtle look to it. So it all depends on how you want to use it. Me personally, I'm not going to be using the Tim Holtz cardstock, black cardstock very much, but I do rather enjoy playing around with the blacks black graphics. And as I said before, you know, if you don't want to fast forward, find out Karen's favorites, it is graphics across the board, black and white. Okay? So you can stop the camera right there if you want to, but go ahead and watch this. And if you're going to continue to watch this, please give me a thumbs up. This is only my second YouTube video in like 10 years. And I would appreciate all your wonderful thumbs up, comments, and the like. Sorry about that. My husband just walked in the door and didn't know I was videotaping, but he did bring me, he had gone to the hardware store for me, and he did bring me back the piece of wood that I had ordered, 12-inch square, that I have on a Lazy Susan base. I don't have it attached down yet, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. I just covered it with, for right now, with some press and seal. And I had got this specifically for working with my alcohol inks. Okay, so if it's a little bit off center, please forgive me. I tried to get it as centered as I could. It's not too bad right now. So moving on to the next paper, which comes in, well, it's not really paper. This is technically, which they sort of all are, craft plastic. Okay, this is Paycon craft plastic. It comes in sheets of 11 by 17, and I cut it down to 11 by 7, and then got these squares so that I could play around with these squares. When I first saw this and it came, I got this off of Amazon. The first thing that hit my mind was Silhouette Cameo. I could just imagine all the fun things that you can do with the Silhouette Cameo in that. And it does come in a lot of different colors. And I thought that I would just put out some different stuff just to play with. Okay? And I'm going to turn that over. Now this does come with, it's two-sided. It does come with a rougher side on one side and a smoother side on the other side. Okay, a lot of the papers do that. Just, you know, pick out, I usually use a smoother side because you're going to get a better flow with that. It all depends on how you want to use it. And we'll do it this way. Okay, so to make things easier, I am just going to, here, we'll just throw this on here. Some white. It's just easier to show up on the black. Okay. And around we go. And again, this is Marabou mixed with alcohol. I don't like Marabou straight. Okay, so we've got that. Let's put on, we've got the white here. Let's throw on a little bit of blending solution, and why not some pretty boysenberry. I love the boysenberry. Okay, and whoop. Okay, Karen, you're still trying to move the paper. You don't have to move the paper anymore, Karen. Okay, well, plurp. See, this is why I don't have tutorials. I need somebody to teach me. Okay. And I'm just playing around, as you can see, and making a mess. And let's just throw down. And we also don't have, you know, I'm not going to take a too terrible lot of time. Yeah, wrong side. Did I do this on the right side? Yep. Okay, let's do this on the smooth side. Let's put some green down. A little bit of blending solution. Oh, see? And it is, that's your spread. Okay, let's see how it flows. And it flows pretty good. And I need to turn my air pressure up on that a little bit. But anyway. Okay. Now my airbrush pretty much dried these, but I'm just going to dry them more just so that you know that they're heat dried. That's cool. And this is the first time using my airbrush, and this is the first time using this. So I'm just going to come along and go squirt, 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 squirt. And when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, cool. That mirror boot dries fast. Okay. And stuff dries fast in here because I have a ceiling fan that's on full blast. I work on alcohol inks and I don't even smell them with all the air I have circulating in here. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I am such a lousy artist that I do like, and this will be cleaner here. Let me throw a little bit 99 on here. I like, if I'm going to work on something like this and I'm going to spend the money on it, I want it to come clean. And my fingers aren't clean. Okay. So there's the Paycon craft plastic. And yes, I'm a klutz if you haven't figured that out already. Right lid, okay. Okay.